So we take the standard footwork of the shuffles, and then suddenly we have the infamous Jeet-Kune-Do shuffle, where we're bouncing back and forth. Every time you take your foot down, I can shuffle here, or I can shuffle over this way. And that's easy, and it becomes a range thing. By the way, do not want to do this when you're in striking range. So, you generally want to do that. Now, however, if you are, and this is where you go, every rule is meant to be broken when you know how it's meant to be broken. In a striking range, suddenly you can do this, and it throws people off because they don't know that it's like he broke the rules, and they're freezing and they're thinking. But that's for later. Now we get into drop step and falling step, which are really similar. A drop step is simply this. Instead of rising, because this is what most people do, we rise, we step. And you can watch people walk in the mall, Walmart, wherever you want to walk. Rise, fall. Rise, fall. To break that, we drop again, we drop, and we move. That is a much harder thing for people to read. So how you train that is you pick your foot up, and this sounds really stupid, but try it. Pick your foot up, pick your other foot up, and you have to learn how to build the trust that wherever this foot is, my other foot will catch me. So eventually, if my foot is over here somewhere, it will still catch me and keep me from smacking on the ground. So once you can do that, that's when you get into, I just move anywhere, and that is drop stepping. Falling step creates, it's the same principle, but it creates distance. The falling step is, I'm moving over here. Maybe I'm moving down to here, but all I'm doing is covering distance to clear the situation that I don't want to be in. Now, in a ring fighting situation, usefulness, not so much, because you have a referee over here and you have 3 judges who are grading on what you're doing. So you have to make it smaller, and they're going to take points away. In a self-defense situation, if I fall down here and I take off for the races, that's a win. And so until the UFC offers me $100,000 to get my head beat in, I'm going to offer running away is a good plan. Pause. Alright. So, things that help you out as you're building your movement is your hips, where your hips are. Just be aware of where your hips are. And for most people, the thing is just don't have your butt back, because as you move, it shortens your step. So as long as you're upright, you get a much further set of movements with your step. And that is all you need to know about that. As far as building footwork combos, build them in patterns of 2s, then 3s, and 4s. So most people, this is a good starting point. 1, 2, 1, 2. Then it becomes 1, 2. Good. And it becomes 1, 2, boom. So 1, 2, 4. Sometimes that might be 1, 2, boom. So you start working in the patterns of, well, I did a step, shuffle, shuffle, step again. And you just build that and you work. and that's good. All right, now we get into where you go and why. I'm going to be using a clock system here. That's why I have the little green disc on the ground. And we're going to start forward. I'm going to start from the Jeet Kune Do right lead, which is I'm starting off with my right strong hand. Forward is pretty simple. Pretty easy. This is probably better. Easy. Now we get into what I call different angles. So this is what I call a minor east, which is I just turn and get out of the way, and you go by. I step and turn. I take a big step and turn. Olé. And you let the big bull go past you, and we all go have a nice day. So we look at this stuff. Well, this is a really awkward angle. So from here to go to this angle here, probably easier. Back, as we all say, you cannot outrun somebody if you're moving backwards when they're running forwards. To which I also have a counterpoint. It is really hard to deliver a good hard shot while you're running. Chuck Liddell won a lot of fights by being able to suddenly stop and hit. Still said, don't run straight backwards if you can help it. It's pretty simple over here. Pretty simple. This is where we get into the weird ones. These are more advanced shots. As I step here to draw a shot to continue. Or I start with this one from this position and we're working around. Again, I'm trying to get to an advantage position. And pause. So, reactions that people have can be broken down into about 6 things that cover most of it. The first one is I move in and they crash on me. Very simple. Second one is I move in, they retreat. Pretty simple. Next one is I move off to this side, they cut me off. The next one is I move off this side, they circle to maintain parity. After that, you get the really easy one, which is I step in, they freeze, which means you just go to work. The really scary one is I step in and they just wait and they're timing me and you can see it in their eyes. And that's the one that's dangerous. That's when you need to be able to abort and break off. And that is where you get into like the dueling combos, is you're working with people who are reading your movements back and forth. And that is, again, what I call a dueling situation, not a self-defense situation.